This is Mr. Trot, and welcome to Thursday's lesson, the last lesson for the week. Before we get started, I want to show you guys a little magic trick. So starting off with an ordinary deck.
We interrupt this lesson for today's important lesson objective. We interrupt this lesson for today's important lesson objective.
And this is your card. Pretty good, huh? Maybe I'll do another one for you next week. Alright, so today is the last lesson of the week. Tomorrow's lesson is the review. So that will be the week 6 review. Hopefully most of you have finished the week 5 review. But when you have to do this, you have to do the work on a separate piece of paper. And then when you're done, you can hold that piece of paper right up to your Chromebook, use the camera, take a picture, and then send it to me. Not many people have been doing that. They're leaving it blank. Shouldn't be too hard to do. Just copy down all the problems, everything, solve all the work. I see his work. You get the full credit. All right, so on to today's lesson. 3 different topics. Not too bad either. We're going to be writing expressions using exponents. So, why did I exponents? There we go. That sounds a lot better. So I have 7 times 7 times 7, and I'm going to rewrite that using exponents because it's a lot easier to read. So if I have 7 times 7 times 7, I'm going to write this. I'm going to start off with that first number they give me over and over and over, and I'm going to write that down. And then I'm going to count how many times that number was used. That number was used 1, 2, 3 times, so I'm going to put a 3 up on the top. And what this means is I'm going to take this number on the bottom, that's 7, and I'm going to multiply it by itself this many times. So that's 3 times 7 times 7, so that matches what we have right up there. All right, let's try one more, but before that, it's time for a bad joke of the day. Bad joke today is going to be, what did one dish say to the other? Dinner's on me. All right, we're writing 9 times 9 times 9 times 9 times 9 using exponents. So almost that number 9, I'll write that down. And then I want to count how many times 9 has been used. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So I'm going to put the 5 up here. We call that superscript. It's just slightly above everything else. And we're done. That's the same thing as 9 times 9 times 9 times 9 times 9. We just say that is called 9 to the 5th power. And we're done. So I'd like you to try one on your own. So why don't you try this one now? Okay. So I've got the number 3 here, so I'll start by writing that out. 3. 3 is being multiplied by itself a bunch of times. We're going to see how many. It's being multiplied 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 3s. So that is going to be 3 to the 5th power. Easy peasy. All right, the next topic we're covering today is going to be, again, exponents. And this time we're going to be evaluating them, which is a fancy way to say solve. So if I have 12 to the 2nd power, that is actually going to be the 12 that I have here. And I'm going to be multiplying 12 by itself 2 times. So that means I have to have 12 times 12. We have a 12 up here, we have a 2, which means I need to see 2 of those 12s. So it's 12 times 12. What it is not going to be 12 times 2. I know I'm going to see a lot of people write down 24 as an answer. 24 is not the answer. This is not the way it works. If I have a 12 to the 2nd power, I'm having 12 written down 2 times. So I'm doing 12 times 12. I know what that is off the top of my head, but I want to make sure you guys, if you're not sure, you don't have a calculator there, you can still do this the old-fashioned way. 2 times 2 is going to be 4. 2 times 1 is going to give us a 2. For that next column, I'm going to start with a 0 on the bottom. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 1 is 1. And when I add these up together, 4 plus 0 is going to give me 4. 2 plus 2 is 4. And 1 plus 0 is 1. So the answer is 144. Not too shabby. Time for another bad joke. This time it is, what does a house wear? A dress. Get it? To the 5th power. we're going to be writing this out the long way, which is going to be 2 5 times. So I can write another 2, and then I can write another 2, and I can write another 2, and then I can write another 2. And then I can put my multiplication symbol between each of these. Now there's two different ways you can solve this problem. And the first of them I'm going to show you over on the left. You can do it either way you'd like. So the first way is just to go right down the bat here. If I have 2 times 2, I get an answer of 4. So these are done with now. Now I have 4 times 2, which is going to give me an answer of 8. So I can cross this 2 out. Now I can do 8 times this 2. 8 times 2 there is going to give me 16. So I can cross that one out. And I have 16 times 2 here, which is going to give me an answer of 32. Now a way that's a little bit easier, I think, is to start breaking this down. If I have 2 times 2, that's going to give me an answer of 4. And then I have another, draw these arrows, makes it a little bit easier. I have another 2 times 2, that's also 4. And then I have this times 2 at the end that hasn't been used yet. So now if I have 4 times 4, I end up getting 16. And I can bring down this times 2 here, which also gives me 32. So I like this way a lot more. If you're more comfortable doing it the other way, you are more than welcome to do that as well. So I have one more problem for you to solve. Let's go to that. Yeah. So why don't you try this one on your own now? Okay, so if you've evaluated this, you should have written down the 5 3 times to get 5 times 5 times 5. And I'm going to solve this way I like doing it, the same way I did before. I'm going to do my 5 times 5 to get 25. And then I'll multiply that by 5. That comes down. 25 times 5 is going to be 125. I can do that so quickly in my head because I'm thinking this in terms of money. If I were to have 5 quarters, I'd have $1.25, which is 125 pennies. So 125 is our answer for that one. Right, one last type of problem, and these are really easy. Now we're going to be working with exponents and powers of 10. So if I have 10 to the 4th power, what I'm essentially saying is 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. Now when we do this with tens are really easy to work with because they all end in 0. So what I have to do here is I can just, as a shortcut, I can count how many zeros I have here. I have 1 0, I have 2, I have 3, I have 4 zeros. So what I can do is write down my 1 to begin with, right from there, and then I have 4 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4. And my answer, if I put a comma in there, is going to be 10,000. So again, all you have to do here is write down that 1, and then you're going to have 4 of those zeros. So before we get to the next example, I have my bad joke of the day. This last one, I like this one. Why can't you hear a pterodactyl go to the bathroom? Because the P is silent. Because the word pterodactyl is actually spelled P-T-E-R-O-D-A-C-T-Y-L. Pterodactyl. But the P is silent. That's why you can't hear go to the bathroom. The P is silent. All right, so evaluating 10 to the 6th power. So this one, I'll still write it out the long ways. This is going to be 10 times 10 times another 10 times my 4th 10 times my 5th 10 times my 6th 10. Now when I look at these, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros or 6 tens. I can just write this out as my 1 with 6 zeros following it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And if you wanted to put the commas in, just not in Schoology, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and it's actually a million. Not too shabby. All right, you got one problem to try on your own, so why don't you try that one now? So if I'm going 10 to the 5th, I'm going to just take my shortcut here, and I'm going to have my 1 with 5 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. Put my comma in here, 100,000. So that was one of the choices, so hopefully you got that correct. And that's it for today. You have a short assignment of a couple of these problems I'd like you to try. If you don't understand things, office hours, tomorrow if you get that week 6 review. Week 5 was last week. Make sure you get that done. Make sure you're showing all of your work and you're sending that photo in. If you have any issues with that, please send me a text message. Please send me a Schoology message. You don't have my phone number. I'm not going to be able to send me a text message. Or pop in on Zoom hours. The secret word for today is card. So that's going to be the answer for the first question. You get the review, and then it's time for the weekend. All right. It's been a blast. I'll see you guys next week.